Representing the bay boat category, the Sheaffer S240 has an overall length of 24 feet, a beam of 8 feet 6 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 300. Built for inshore and offshore fishing, she has a draft of 13 inches, a dead rise of 14 degrees, a dry weight of 3,200 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 100 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts.
Guys, we got a special day planned here. We're on the Sheaffer 240V. You know, I've been looking forward to fishing on this boat. It's a really historical boat in Florida fishing. More importantly, we're lucky enough to get to spend the day with Ben Sheaffer, the guy who designed it and builds the boat. How cool is that?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna tell you how cool it is. I have watched Ben tweak this basic idea for 20 years now. Seems like every year gets better.
I'm excited to pick everybody's brain today and get a little boat history and education on the Sheaffer.
You're gonna learn a lot. Let's go fishing.
Now, this is a boat that was widely used as a West Coast guide boat for drifting in the passes, tarpon fishing, but a boat that would also get you up in shallow water. Now, Ben Sheaffer took that design into the 21st century. Over the course of the last 2 decades or so, he's refined that design to the point, the boat that we're looking at right now, it's really something.
Now, let me tell you, the boat could have handled the ocean, but one look at it from Lori and George and I, we knew we were having no part of being offshore today.
Our original plan this day was to find some tarpon rolling up in the river. Well, 20 to 25 mile an hour winds kind of changed things up for us and forced us back into a canal to get out of the wind. I got up on the bow of this boat and we started looking along some seawalls, dropped that trolling motor, put the anchor lock down, and sat there and waited to find some cruising fish. And boy, standing up on the deck of that boat was really stable and allowed us to see fish coming down the seawall a lot better.
So I was there to help with tackle, and there was tackle in the bow, and there was a side compartment on the console, another tackle station, so I just kept handing it back and forth today to help the boys.
I've seen a million live wells. This one was unique for one reason. Not only was it big and oval and pumped a lot of water, all day in that live well, not one dead pilchard to be found.
Now, one feature that's a very popular option with the Sheaffer 240V is the addition of a second station. The boat that we tested had their full tower, which was really useful in a couple of different ways. From a navigation standpoint, the tower can be really useful. If you find yourself running in shallow water trying to navigate your way through kind of dicey channels or along the edge of a flat, which we did on this day, it's super useful to be able to monitor your depth and see obstacles coming your way.
Getting up that high changes your whole perspective. We were praying we could find some rolling tarpon in the river because we couldn't be offshore. Unfortunately, I spent a lot of time up there. I was comfortable, the tarpon weren't showing.
Now, in another setting, I was able to use the tower to my advantage to spot some snook cruising in the mangroves. We put the power poles down, got in a deep channel along the edge of the mangroves, and my anglers on the deck, they couldn't see these fish coming, but from my vantage point on the tower, I saw the snook coming ahead of time, told them where to cast, and were able to convert that into bites.
The Sheaffer 240V has a big casting platform. The 2 guys from Sheaffer were standing up there bombing those snook, and they had all the room they ever needed.
The bow compartments on this Sheaffer is a dream come true. The fish box, yes, insulated. If you're not putting fish in there, is storage. And there's dividers, just like you have in coolers, and you can divide. They provide you with dividers, so you make it to what you want for storage for the day. In front of that, 2 more compartments on your port side and starboard side, large enough that both of my 5-gallon buckets I brought today fit in there along with other gear.
The boat seems so much bigger than a 24 because you could fish all the way to the transom. The motor being on a bracket outside of the boat gave it that gorgeous closed transom look and gave you a ton of room to fish. Fishing off the transom was also made a lot easier because there's a secondary live well back there. You don't have to walk up to the main well every time you need a bait. That meant you didn't have to take your eyes off the action.
Ben Sheaffer's apparently applied the keep it simple rule, which makes a lot of sense for this boat. Dividing up the systems into 3 separate areas. One, the console, which is extremely accessible through a large opening in the front of the console. Second, pumps, hydraulics, everything required in the back of the boat that needs to stay out of the bilge and away from the salt is incorporated into the transom, also very easy to access. And last, the bilge systems, easily accessible through a hatch opening in the cockpit. All your pumps right there, everything you need to control live wells, bilge pumps, everything is right there and easy to put your hands on.
Guys, today we got to spend the day on the Sheaffer 240V. What a blast.
Yeah, you know what, this is a great boat, Rick. You talk a little bit about what happened to us today, all right? We were gonna go on the beach on this boat. It was blowing 20 miles an hour when we left the dock. We needed to pivot. And the versatility of this boat really came through for us today in a pinch. We got back up in the river, we fished some seawalls and some canals, we got up on the flat and the mangroves. You know, it does more than just what we wanted to do, and when we needed it, it produced.
This boat was fishing.
Bingo, you nailed it on the head, okay? Ben Sheaffer builds fishing boats. If you want a boat to do a ton of things, there's a lot of boats for that. You want a great fishing boat, the Sheaffer 240V is one you gotta see.